I've spent hours digging through articles, police reports, and verified sources to bring you this chilling true story. What you're about to hear is not fiction, it's a real mystery that has remained unsolved for over a decade. I ask you to please watch until the end, because the deeper this story goes, the stranger it gets. This is the case of Lars Mittank, a healthy young man who went on a vacation in Bulgaria, began acting strangely, and then vanished without a trace after running out of an airport on camera. I've included links to reliable sources in the description so you can verify everything for yourself. Lars Mittank was a 28-year-old man from Germany. He had a good job, a girlfriend, and a close group of friends. Nothing about his life seemed unusual. In June 2014, he went on vacation with his friends to Bulgaria. They stayed at a resort town called Golden Sands. It was known for its beaches, cheap drinks, and wild nightlife. Lars was relaxed and cheerful at first. They partied, laughed, and spent time at the beach. But on the fourth night, something changed. Lars got into a small fight with some other tourists at a bar. It was over something silly: football teams. He was a Werder Bremen fan. The others supported Bayern Munich. Later that night, Lars told his friends that one of the men had punched him. He complained about pain in his ear. The next day, he went to see a doctor at a local clinic. The doctor said his eardrum was partially damaged. He was prescribed antibiotics and advised not to fly for a few days. Lars told his friends to go home without him. He said he'd stay in Bulgaria until he was cleared to fly. He booked a cheap hotel room near the airport. That's when things started to get very strange. Lars began calling and texting his mother. He said he didn't feel safe. He whispered into the phone and said people were following him. He told her to cancel his credit cards immediately. He refused to tell her why. He didn't sound drunk or high, just deeply afraid. His mother became alarmed but couldn't convince him to go to the police. He spent that night alone in his hotel. At 1 a.m. surveillance footage showed him walking around the halls nervously. He hid behind pillars and walked in and out of the building. He looked like someone being hunted. Then, without warning, Lars disappeared for 12 hours. No one knows where he went. When he returned to the hotel, he looked anxious, tired, and dirty. He told the staff he was going to the airport. The next morning, July 8th, Lars arrived at Varna Airport. There, he went to the medical clinic to ask if he could fly. The doctor began checking him. Then, a construction worker entered the room. Lars immediately panicked. He stood up and shouted, "I don't want to die here." He ran out of the clinic, left his luggage, his wallet, his phone, everything. Surveillance cameras captured the next terrifying moments. Lars sprinted across the airport terminal. He ran out the doors, past the parking lot, and into a nearby field. Then he climbed a tall fence and ran straight into a thick forest. That was the last time anyone saw Lars Mittank. He vanished without a trace. No one has heard from him since. No body, no signs, nothing. Police searched the forest and surrounding area for days. They used helicopters, dogs, and hundreds of volunteers. They found nothing, not even a piece of clothing or a shoe. So, what happened to Lars Mittank? There are several theories. One says he had a psychotic break, possibly triggered by the antibiotics. That might explain the paranoia and fear, but Lars had no history of mental illness. And doctors said the medication was mild. Another theory is darker. Some believe he saw or got involved in something illegal: drugs, trafficking, something dangerous. And he was running from people who wanted to silence him. But there's no evidence of this. A third theory suggests he faked his disappearance. Maybe he wanted to escape his life and start over. But why leave without money, ID, or a plan? Why run into a forest in broad daylight, knowing you were being filmed? In 2019, a man in Canada claimed to have seen someone matching Lars's description. There were other sightings in Sweden and Poland. None were confirmed, none led anywhere. His mother still believes he's alive. She keeps his phone number active, just in case he calls. She's posted appeals online, followed every lead, and spoken to reporters for years, but the silence never ends. To this day, Lars Mittank remains one of the most mysterious missing persons in modern history. The footage of him running out of the airport has been watched by millions. Everyone who sees it asks the same question. What was he running from? Was it something real? Was it all in his mind? Or is the truth something we haven't even imagined? Until Lars is found or someone speaks, the mystery remains unsolved. One man, one moment of panic, and a disappearance that still haunts the world.